Well, hello, colleagues. Greetings to everyone. I wanted to give you a quick update on a recent paper I was part of the authorship. That was an expert roundtable on new developments in schizophrenia. Me and a few colleagues got together and we had a deep conversation about this topic, and we have just published it in the International Journal of Neuropsychopharmacology, and the details for it are provided here. My name is Rakesh Jain, and I'm very much looking forward to telling you more about our findings. By the way, if you do wish to access this article for itself, which is titled New Developments in the Treatment of Schizophrenia, an Expert Roundtable, I have all the details posted here on the slide for your review. Okay, by the way, who are these experts? So we have Joshua Kantrovitz, Christoph Corell, Andrew Cutler, and myself. We were the four who got together to do a deep dive into what is happening in the world of schizophrenia and what is expected to arrive in the next perhaps a year and a little bit further out. Very exciting stuff, actually. And as I said before, this has been now published in the International Journal of Neuropsychopharmacology, and the details on where you can obtain the PDF for yourself are provided here. Let's jump right into it, shall we? So the first drug we found deeply intriguing was Remitterat. This is from Sunovion and Sumitomo Pharma. It is in fact a Tar1 agonist and a 5-HT1A agonist. By the way, if you do want to know what Tar1 is, I've got the abbreviations spelled out at the bottom of the slide. This particular compound has had a very successful phase 2 life, though it ran into some challenges with 2 phase 3 studies, which did not separate from placebo. So we will await further details from the company and their research plans and further data being released to find out really where Remitterat is going in terms of its commercial viability. The other drug that is of great interest to us was Remitterat, which is, by the way, a Tar1 partial agonist. This one, as you can see, phase 2 for schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, as well as negative symptoms. There are a number of studies for monotherapy and adjunctive therapy phases being planned. Roche is the maker of this particular molecule, and we excitedly await data from Remitterat's research program. The third drug we, the expert roundtable members, found extremely intriguing was this one, KarXT, which is a combination of xanomeline and trospium. It comes to us from Karuna Therapeutics. It is in fact an M1/M4 muscarinic receptor agonist with a peripherally active anticholinergic. This is perhaps the most advanced in terms of development of all the new drugs we have for schizophrenia. It is, in fact, has had 3 positive phase 3 studies, and we anxiously and eagerly await the long-term safety and tolerability data for this medication. We're quite excited about this because of the positive data we saw and examined for ourselves, and also the fact that this being a muscarinic receptor agonist-based compound, we expect the drug to have hopefully no weight gain, no risk of tardive dyskinesia, and we very much hope no prolactin elevation. We are awaiting quite anxiously to see where this drug goes. By the way, emraclidine, which is an M4 muscarinic receptor M4 positive allosteric modulator from Cerevel, also is in phase 2 for acute exacerbation in schizophrenia. This compound also excites us a great deal because of the data that the company has provided so far to the scientific community to examine. All right, we are in fact not done. This actually appeared after the roundtable was conducted, but we wanted to offer you a little bit of quick insight into another compound. This one is an M1 and M4 muscarinic agonist co-formulated with the peripherally selective muscarinic antagonist. This one comes to us from Maplite Pharmaceuticals. It is at the moment named ML007C-MA. I'm sure in time it'll have a more manageable name. It just finished its phase 1 trial. It is being developed for schizophrenia in the long run, but there are goals to develop it in Alzheimer's disease psychosis as well as dyskinesia. We shall see. This is several years away, but the compound does look quite interesting. We move on to talking about a compound we have had for a while called Pimavanseren, but this time Acadia Pharmaceuticals is studying this inverse agonist antagonist at 5-HT2A receptor with less potent action at 5-HT2C receptor for adjunctive treatment for negative symptoms. And we await further data to see exactly where Pimavanseren will fit into our research and clinical practices. Oh, and here we go, another compound called Eclipertin. And Eclipertin comes to us from Boehringer Ingelheim Pharma. It's a GlyT1 inhibitor. Now, what is that? GlyT1 is the glycine transporter, and it is thought to have activity at the NMDA receptor. As we know, NMDA receptor hypofunction is part of the disorder of schizophrenia. That, in fact, is fairly well established. So it is being studied quite actively as an add-on therapy for cognition and functional improvement. We wish Boehringer Ingelheim great success because this GlyT1 inhibitor looks promising in a disease state of schizophrenia, the subdisease state of cognition and functionality, where our patients really don't have adequate treatment options. So we shall await, and perhaps in the next expert roundtable, we will report on further developments. We move on to talking about another compound with another novel mechanism of action. This is LuvaDexalt, and that comes to us from Neurocrine Biosciences. Its mechanism of action is DAAO inhibitor. You might be wondering what the heck that is. That's an amino acid oxidase inhibitor. This is thought to also work on the NMDA receptor by, in fact, inhibiting the metabolism of D-serine, right? So by inhibiting its metabolism, the thinking is the NMDA receptor agonistic activity happens, and this also is being studied as add-on therapy for cognitive impairment. Isn't this great news? We have more than one compound now specifically looking at the cognitive domain of schizophrenia, which we classically have not been able to treat very effectively. All right, in conclusion, I would say three things, and my colleagues on the expert roundtable, I know for a fact, would agree with me. The future of schizophrenia research and treatment appears to be quite bright, perhaps the brightest it has been in 50 years. Multiple new mechanisms, as I just shared with you, are being studied, so please stay excited. In fact, we think you and I should stay very excited for the future of treatment of schizophrenia. All right, finally, one more time, this is Rakesh Jain. A pleasure to talk with you, and should you want to read the article for yourself, details are provided here on this slide. Thank you again very much. Until next time, goodbye.